So it finished Liverpool 2, Fulham 2 over the weekend. I was actually away on a little staycation for a mate's birthday, so I wasn't able to react to this one on the day. In fact, I wasn't even able to watch the game because I was out on a hike with no reception, but caught up on all the highlights, all the news and stuff after the game. And even 2 days on, I'm kind of torn as to whether this feels like 2 points dropped or a really hard fought point earned and, real character shown. In terms of the wider context, I think, it's a game at Anfield. You've got to win these kinds of games, so it feels a bit more like 2 points dropped in that sense. And also Fulham were without Bassey and Anderson, their two first choice centre-backs, but we didn't really struggle for goals. We got the two and had many more chances created. Unfortunate not to score more. It was defensively where we really struggled, and that's where the context comes in. We played 80 odd minutes with 10 men. We had a lot go against us, a couple of dodgy decisions that we'll talk about in a bit, but at the end of the day, we showed some character to get a point, and I think for now, I'd lean more that way, but obviously 2 draws on the bounce now in the league, Newcastle and Fulham, both respectable sides. Fulham also were actually in quite good form coming into this, having drawn with Arsenal, Tottenham, beaten Brighton. Very unlucky in their defeats to Villa and City not long before as well, where they won the XG battle in both. So no shame in those sides, but we've got to start getting back to winning ways. Really tough trip to Tottenham next weekend, so we're going to have to get the wins going. Thankfully, Arsenal and City have also been dropping points, so we haven't been punished by them, but Chelsea creeping up, and you've just got to keep them in the picture. Maybe not fully sure if they're in for a title race this season, but you can't underestimate them. Right, so I touched a little on us being screwed over in this game. I'm going to start with the Robbo red card. There's actually a couple of incidents that took place before this one, but I want to start here because this was the red card that was given. I think fairly so. It's a last man challenge. Again, Dogzo, I think this is something that Dermot Gallagher talked about on Sky Sports in his ref watch, and how he actually doesn't think it's a red because denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity is this obvious. We'll touch on why there might be some leeway for Robbo in a minute, but I think it's a clumsy challenge. He's obviously taken a poor touch. Wilson's through, and it's one of those ones that I don't have too many complaints about this being given a red card because we'll get to the next screenshot. But you can see here, obviously, Wilson takes a touch slightly outwards, so you could argue that Van Dijk is getting in there and maybe he's going to cover. But for me, I think he's clear enough through on goal that there is a clear enough goal scoring opportunity there. Again, I don't know, obvious or not, it's all up to interpretation, but it's not one that I'd sit there and argue about or feel too hard done by. But it's more the fact that this was given and Fulham got away with their challenges. Let's roll to the next clips. Of course, the 2 incidents I want to speak about are right here, pictured above. 17th minute was when Robbo was sent off, bear that in mind. And then 11th minute was actually when Fulham had taken the lead just before, through Pereira. But what did Pereira do just 2 minutes prior to scoring? He rakes his studs down the back of Gravenberch's Achilles and gets just a yellow card, 9 minutes on the clock. But even further prior to that, 2nd minute, Robbo, who's actually the offender for getting himself sent off late after a poor touch and then a late challenge, clumsy challenge, was he perhaps affected by the fact that he's been studded into the thigh by Diop in the 2nd minute of the game? Maybe he's not even fully run that one off. So listen, if Robbo's is a red, it's got to rank 3rd in terms of red card challenge offences compared to these two. I'm just asking for a bit of consistency. These have both got to be red cards if you're sending off Robbo as well. And in a really tough game like this, where a lot of factors are going against you, you need people to be able to step up and pull you out of that situation. And that was what we had. There's the character we saw on display. The attackers creating a lot of opportunities, pinning Fulham back and getting the goals we needed both times we fell behind. But just behind them was some incredible runners. Ryan Gravenberch and Dominic Szobo covering a lot of ground, with Gravenberch even slotting back into a back 3 at many points in that game, and just absolutely incredible. They ran themselves into the ground. 14 interceptions between the two of them, for example, along, I'm sure, with many other brilliant stats. But this is what you need. You need a team of hard workers, and these are 2 guys who are obviously relatively new players for us, really refreshed, really hungry, and you just love to see it from them. Just like Cody Gakpo took flight for the first equaliser, his stock is soaring. The guy is on an incredible run of form right now. 7 goals in his last 10 games for us in all competitions is a brilliant level of consistency, and it's not obviously banging in hat-tricks every other week, but it is just ticking along at a very consistent rate. That is what you want from the attackers. You want them regularly chipping in with goals. Obviously, it's a big problem we have with someone like Darwin Núñez at the moment. It's just not coming for him. But this is what we want. We want the rest of the attackers just chipping in, ticking along nicely so that we have that steady flow of goals and we're not relying on one person to keep pulling us out of the gutter every time, such as, obviously the heavy weight on Mohamed Salah's goals. So really, really happy for him to just continue his run. And yeah, between him and Luis Diaz, 2 incredible left-wing options to rotate between. Luis Diaz has obviously been doing that false 9 role for us a few times as well this season. So really, really happy for him. And yeah, long may it continue. Another thing I was really happy to see was Harvey Elliott getting another 20 minutes under his belt as he steps up his recovery from a lengthy injury that kept him out for the pretty much the whole season up until recently. So really good for him. And he may have only had a small stint on the pitch, but he managed to still create 2 chances and almost bend in an absolute beauty, which would have pulled us level in the 82nd minute before we did eventually get that equaliser. So really good kind of cameo from him, and hopefully now he can just keep himself fit, keep building those minutes, because they're a big season for him. We want to see him step up, so like someone like Curtis Jones has done, and really come to the fore. So I'd love to see him get the start against Southampton if he's fit enough for that. And yeah, just keep plugging in the minutes now and just add another body into the midfield and potentially another right wing option as well, as and when he can. But we do really want to see him in that central region where we saw him in pre-season just absolutely cooking. And then finally, if you're still watching at this point, just sharing the pain right here. Luis Diaz, just one pass. He just delays and then he comes back inside the other way. But just one pass, Salah was open, onside, bang, 3-2, and I would have got extra FPL points having captained him. It is what it is. But yeah, better decision making and fine margins in these games. Fine margins.